Hello, welcome to my weekly Little Ahead video, and we're back at Parliament today. Business is as normal, except it's not, because we've got this new voting system, socially distanced voting system, which means we've got several hundred MPs queuing up around Westminster Hall, out into New Palace Yard, almost into Parliament Square, taking forever. Fortunately, it was nice weather, so we've got a suntan, but really not good for democracy. And frankly, I can't see this lasting. But we've been doing the Parliamentary Constituency Bill, which is going to be a new boundary change to decide how we get equal constituency sizes again. In fact, we haven't had one for 10 years, so it's long overdue. We've got some legislation around the sentencing bill, corporate insolvency bill. And on Wednesday, we have an important meeting of the Home Affairs Select Committee dealing with online harms, particularly with children. We have the Internet Watch Foundation coming along, and with the peak in online fraud that we've seen during the lockdown. Now, on the first day back, we had a statement about the very worrying situation in Hong Kong, where the Chinese government seemed to be reneging on all the agreement when they took back control of Hong Kong from Britain back in 1997. I'm very concerned about the clamping down on human rights and democracy that we know China practices within its own boundaries, but I'm also worried about the great influence it has on universities, on schools, and on companies in this country as well. So I raised that with the Home Secretary. The other issue which was touched on, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this more, is the really worrying situation in America. And a number of people have understandably written to me about the death or the murder of George Floyd and the uprising we've seen as a result of that. Thank goodness we don't have those sorts of problems in the UK. I know there is a problem with racism, but really the heavy-handedness of the police there is amazing, and I absolutely condemn it. This week, of course, we saw some relaxation on the lockdown. Certain shops are able to open. They're going to be more opening in a couple of weeks' time. Many primary schools have gone back for certain years, and so far that seems to be going well, and I'm really grateful to all the heads and teachers who've made that possible. And some good news, we've had announcement for the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. 4 groups in West Sussex have been given the Queen's Award, a very prestigious award, not many of them are given out. And the homeless charity Turning Tides, who's doing such a great job in Worthing, is one of the winners of that Queen's Award. So very well deserved, and congratulations to them. I'm getting a number of emails about cycle lanes. Why aren't we seeing these pop-up cycle lanes that the government are funding? And I'm working with Councillor Kevin Boreham and the County Council to try and get some more sustainable cycle lanes around the constituencies. We're encouraging people to use their bicycles more, and particularly in this weather, it's a great thing to do. Good for the environment, good for your health as well. Also, the Coronavirus Community Champion Awards. Thank you very much for all the nominations. Still coming in. I've had some fantastic nominations, and I was really pleased with my newsletter last week. I've announced the first 4 winners. They are Truffles Bakery, who were so generous in giving so many things to the Shopital shop at the hospital to give out to NHS staff. The Shaw and Firm Focus, who've been giving us meals every night to hand out to nurses coming off shift. To Something resident Tom Smith, who's involved with lots of voluntary activities, really been stepping up during coronavirus and going around delivering medication and other essential supplies to people. And Victoria Hill and the Crafting for COVID volunteers. Something like 400 volunteers have been making all sorts of PPE kit and essentials for NHS staff and other health settings. All fantastic examples of people stepping up to the mark during this crisis and doing their bit for the community. And one of my certificates is on its way to all of those groups. I'll announce some more in my video next week, but thanks for all you're doing, everybody. Remember to keep safe.